Imagine you're on a gig playing a simple root note bass line that you want to embellish. None of the scales or shapes you know work, and you start thinking, I'm using the right theory, so why does this sound so bad? The next time you're in this exact situation, instead of more theory, there's a really simple concept you can use to go beyond root notes and create really musical bass lines in any style. This concept is so powerful, it created a standout moment on a huge 90s Britpop hit, and it is exactly what you'll learn in this video. But before I can show you what that concept is, you first have to break the bad habit that's been keeping you stuck on using just root notes. So imagine you pick up your bass, you play a simple line that you want to embellish with scales or fills or chord tones. You'd probably play something like this. It's not bad, but it feels awkward. The extra notes you're adding don't quite fit. It feels like you're getting in the way of the song. And it's really frustrating because it's hard to see how all these extra notes actually add something positive to the song. But there's actually a simple explanation for all of this. It's something I go deeper into in my 30 Days to Gig Level Bass Playing email series. That's linked below and it's free, so go and grab that. But think of the problem like this. You wouldn't cook a meal by grabbing loads of random ingredients from your kitchen, throwing them in a pot and just hoping for the best. But musically, this is exactly the mistake you're making when you try and add extra notes to a bass line. When you play a bass line like this one, even though every extra note you add comes from the correct scale or key, which is E major in this case, you're only choosing them because music theory says that they're correct. Basically, you're making a theoretical decision instead of a musical one. So ultimately, you're just throwing in notes and hoping that they work in theory, rather than choosing specific notes for an actual musical purpose. And because you don't want to risk sounding bad in the middle of a gig by getting this choice wrong, the easiest thing to do is actually to play it safe and default to playing just root notes, because then nothing can go wrong. This is why you're stuck on using just root notes. But now you understand that, how do you go beyond it? Well, this is where this simple technique comes in. In a moment, I'll show you how to use this concept to play more than root notes and give a song that feeling of momentum, drive, and a real sense of direction. But before I can do that, you first need to learn what this technique actually is. And the perfect place to do that is to see it in action on a huge 90s Britpop hit. So the song we're going to study is Sit Down by James, and what's so amazing about this song is that the bassist on the track, Jim Glennie, managed to create one of the song's most musical moments, not by playing more notes, but actually by playing fewer. Now, if that sounds a bit weird in the middle of a video that's all about how you can play more than just root notes, then I get it, but also stick with me. Let me explain. So the song is really simple, so simple in fact that there's only 3 chords throughout the entire tune, which are E major, A major, and B major. They're used in the verses, the choruses, the middle eights, the breakdowns, the pre-choruses, and most of the time, Jim just plays root notes in a simple octave pattern. Now, because the whole song is just these same 3 chords over and over again, it would be really easy for it to start to feel repetitive and feel like it's not going anywhere as a song. And if Jim had stuck to just playing root notes the entire time, that might well be what happened. But instead of just chucking in random fills or theoretically correct notes to try and make the music more interesting, he makes one unbelievably simple yet incredibly powerful musical decision that completely changes the song. In the pre-chorus, he plays this. For the first 6 bars of this pre-chorus, instead of just playing root notes over every chord, he simply holds an E note under every single chord. This is known as a pedal note. So now, instead of hearing E major, A major, and B major, what we're hearing is E major, A major over E, and B major over E. And that completely changes how the section feels to listen to. As a song, it suddenly has this really open, expansive quality to it. It feels exciting, it has drive, and it has momentum. But notice what's actually happening here. Jim isn't choosing these notes because they're theoretically correct. Instead, he's asking, how do I want the music to feel to the listener? And then he's choosing notes that create that feeling for them. But is the lesson here really as simple as just pedal a few low notes whenever you feel like it? No. If that's all you take away from this video, then you're actually back to square one of just making random musical decisions and hoping that they pay off somehow. Because here's the really interesting part. Jim could have used this technique anywhere in the song. He could have used it in the verse, the chorus, the breakdown, wherever, but he didn't. He saved it for this one specific section. And once you understand why, making songs sound better without just relying on root notes the whole time becomes much, much easier. Let me show you. So imagine if Jim had played this pedal tone through one of the verses. Or just randomly dropped it into a chorus. The harmony still takes on that really open, expansive sound, but the song as a whole actually sounds worse. Why? It's actually got very little to do with the notes. It's where within the song he's using them. If you zoom out and look at the song as a whole, you'll notice something really interesting. In the verses and the chorus, Jim sticks entirely to playing root notes in this octave pattern. That gives those sections a really strong feeling of stability, and funnily enough, if he'd chosen to play root notes in the pre-chorus, that pre-chorus section would also feel really, really stable. But if he had done that, all the sections would be the same, and after a while that would get really boring. So instead, he deliberately changes the harmony in just the pre-chorus by using this pedal tone instead of just playing root notes, and makes that section feel a lot less stable than the other two. That instability makes the music feel less settled, and it makes that section of the pre-chorus feel like it's gaining momentum and really building to something. Then just before the chorus, he actually goes back to playing root notes on the A and B chords of the pre-chorus. That restores stability in the music at just the right moment, which means the chorus that follows it now sounds really, really big and really, really satisfying. I believe this week will be my week, so let it go. His bass playing is making the listener feel all those different things, which is why this feels so emotionally satisfying to listen to as a song. So the next time you want to get away from root notes, take a step back, look at the song as a whole, and ask yourself, what does this section of it actually need? And if it needs a bit of drive and momentum and to feel like it's going somewhere, don't always think you have to add extra notes to get it there. Instead, don't be afraid to step back, pedal a few notes and destabilize the harmony so you can make a really strong transition into the next section. That is how you can create really musical, professional sounding bass lines that go beyond root notes by actually playing less instead of more. But this actually brings up a totally new problem. How do you know what a song actually needs in the first place? Because sometimes the best thing you can do is to create tension. Other times it's to play simply and lock everything down, but other times it's to stay out of the way completely and not play at all. If you can't hear what a band needs in the moment, you're always going to feel like you're guessing your way through a song. But luckily, once you know what to listen for, making that decision becomes really, really easy. Now, there's a simple system you can learn to help you make this decision, and I've actually done a full video breakdown of it in this next video up here. So click up here to watch that next.